All right, Bannerlord version 1.9.0 has hit beta, and this looks to be like it's going to be the actual launch candidate, the one that's going to be actually hitting live once the game comes out October 25th. And there's some pretty cool things here. Just to kind of give you that high level breakdown before we even get going. Some things that are changing are the way that the actual AI moves on the battlefield. They move around a lot better, a lot cleaner. They've added a whole bunch of new horses and a bunch of distinctions for those horses. Like there's now mounts, war mounts, and noble mounts, and they've changed the difficulties to riding them, so it's actually easier to access some of the better mounts earlier in the game, so you're not just stuck on some shitty Sumter mount for like the first 10 hours of your playthrough. But of course, the big thing is the addition to banners to the game. Your companions can hold those banners, and those banners will then give bonuses to any formation that they are the captain of. There's quite a few banners you can choose from, so we'll show those banners off in the actual inventory screen and whatnot and what have you, and talk about all these patch notes here today. A whole bunch of updates to a lot of the castle scenes and whatnot, and some of them are really, really cool, like especially the Imperial ones, so some cool things there. Not a whole ton of changes, but still the banners edition is a pretty huge one that we've been wanting since the game hit early access, and it's cool to see those here. So if that's all you wanted to know, you are free to shut the video down. This is a retroactive patch, so you do not need to create a brand new save if you don't want to, but this is day one of the beta branch for 1.9, so expect a ton of bugs to crop up. Should you play it? Can you play it? Yes, absolutely, but if you do, just go in mind that this will probably have some sort of game-breaking bug that will appear, and that it'll be fixed before launch October 25th. So just kind of, again, keep that in mind. I'm definitely of the mind that you should test any of the beta branches, especially because you're going to now get access to those banners and have some fun with those. Let's go into the nitty-gritty for those that want to know the details on the 1.9 patch. And we'll just kind of scoop through this. There's not a whole ton here. Like, of course, there are a bunch of fixes for bugs and crashes, but by and large, as far as content additions or content changes and whatnot, not a whole ton there. Performance changing, of course, any kind of improvement to campaign maps, always fun to highlight. Art, we got 6 new battle terrains. I'm going to click right here and we'll show that off too. So these new battle terrains in these locations, so we got 6 new ones, and they said that they're going to be adding to this list throughout time, breaking some of the larger ones down into smaller ones, having a little bit more contextual locations for those battle terrains. So we'll see this change as time goes on for Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, but we're getting 6 new ones here ahead of launch. Why aren't you going back? Hold on. In addition to that, we're getting 10 new town scenes, and they're pretty nice. I took a look at them, kind of swooped through the area, and it made, especially like Varcheg and Oxhall, just very different in their portrayal, a little less static, a little more dynamic, and a little more custom to the actual town. New Empire castle scenes, again, these are really nice. I really like especially the Chinopsis one. Added 2 new hideout scenes for mountain and seaside to make them kind of break up in their monotony. It was just the same one every time you did it, so now you get 2 different options between each one. Added 19 different cloth and fur pieces for spear banners to existing polearms, so now you can actually build out a banner how you see fit in the crafting screen. Improve the campaign map visuals and the campaign map atmosphere. To me, it looks the same, so I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe I didn't spend enough time on it, but the campaign map has been improving for the last year, so by and large, this is a good thing. I just don't really know what's changed specifically, to be honest with you guys. For the UI, enabled right-click to open the encyclopedia page and gather army pop-up for party leaders, which allows players to see their traits before calling them to the army, in case you don't want to deal with any raiding, anything like that. Added new encyclopedia tutorials, which is good because anyone brand new to the game probably didn't even know you could access the tutorial. So that is very nice here. Added a new managed troop action to the army overlay pop-up for parties that are in the same clan as the player. So this allows you to manage the troops when you're in a massive army, which is, again, very nice. Moving down here into battles and sieges, we get the big boy with added banners and the banner bearers feature. So banners are equipable for items for heroes that can provide various combat bonuses to the hero's formation. They are accessible and equipable through the new inventory item slot. Players can obtain banners as rewards for accomplishing various in-game tasks, defeating enemy nobles, clearing hideouts, or reaching certain campaign milestones. AI nobles can use tier 1, clan leaders tier 2, and faction leaders tier 3 banners. Then the player character and the player's clan members can equip all tiers. A total of 45 banners with different tiers and different effects have been added. And they're all pretty sweet. Banner bearers are special troops that carry a banner on the battlefield and provide various bonuses to other troops in their formation. Each formation can have a banner bearer promoted from regular troops by assigning banner-equipped heroes to the formation during the order of battle phase. In case of a banner bearer's death, their banner will stick to the ground at a 60-degree angle. Another troop in the same formation within a certain radius will take up the banner and continue to fight, cav included. So this is nice here, right? So if you're kind of wondering, well, what happens if my hero dies? We lose that banner and that effect. No, someone from that formation will pick it up and continue the effect. A player can pick up any banner of its allied troops and provide a bonus for the formation of that banner as well, which is pretty cool here too. Increase the variety of items gained through loot, which is nice because it was kind of a little static. Improve the reinforcement spawn system, so new troops now no longer spawn if all the allied troops are retreating. That's hot and spicy as always. Reinforcement troops are now assigned to their best matching formations. So infantry, ranged, cav, and ranged cav. If there are multiple best matching formations, the one with the lowest number of troops is selected. So this is nice. So you don't just kind of get like a random hodgepodge of units coming in. You'll have units that'll just kind of reinforce specific formations, with the lowest one being the highest priority if there are multiple kind of distinctions, right? If someone is both ranged and normal cav and there's less ranged cav, they'll fill up the ranged cav slot. So that's a nice kind of quality of life thing here. And they've done a lot of stuff for reinforcements in this patch and the subsequent ones to make reinforcing a lot better and a lot more fluid in the game, which I am really big and excited for. A lot of stuff here. The hit points on siege equipment hasn't really changed, or it has synced up. So if they lose it on the campaign map, it's reflected on the battle map. Retreating during an offensive siege now removes the battering rams, siege and towers, stuff like this. These are all fixes then for the most part. Now for character development, they've reduced the efficient campaigner secondary perk bonus to 15%. I believe it was 20 before. Reduced the Master of Warcraft primary perk bonus to 15%. So we need to construct additional pylons. Wait, it's that StarCraft fuck. Increase the price of loyalty skill limit to 250 and change the Artisan Smith perk role to party leader. So it's actually useful now. For clan and party, this is honestly not too crazy or huge here. The food variety morale penalty no longer applies to the party is starving, and increase the base prisoner limit for dungeons. Add an encyclopedia pit log for destroyed clans. Nothing crazy here. Nothing that's going to break the bank. It's even this is this is positioned as a small update anyway. So mainly the big thing here was the banners. Kingdoms now count rebellions as a threat and form armies even if they're only enemy is a rebel clan, because this way they can actually go and defeat that clan. For economy and trade, added new horse types and changed horse stats. Added 2 Sumpter, 1 neutral, and 7 war horses, 1 for each faction and 1 neutral. Added a new horse category called Noble Mount, and then updated mount and war mount names. Increased the maximum horse tier from 3 to 6 because it would just go to 3. I'm like, okay, well, that's stupid. Updated the pack camel's base price from 140 to 220 and carry weight from 100 to 150, making it actually useful. Increase the charge damage of all mounts and decrease the difficulty stats of all mounts. Here, this one's actually pretty huge. This should be in green. There we go. Modified items can now be found in shops as well, and revamp the item modifier system to increase the amount of positively modified items, because oftentimes you just really get nothing but negative modifications on your items. And what I'm talking about is any post-battle loot screen, you just get broken, beaten, dull, whatever it was, whatever negative modifier that a weapon had or armor piece had. Very rarely would you get anything other than like fine, maybe like a fine silk scarf, whatever it is. But now you can find those modified items in shops, so you can find any of the positive ones, which is really cool, and it makes it more likely that you'll actually get these positive modifiers when you would pretty much only get negative ones for the most part. Crafting, just fixed a bug here, but settlement, replace the old tavern mercenaries with 3 new mercenary troop trees: Western, Eastern, and Sword Sisters. Increase the mercenary daily wages by 50%, and perks that reduce mercenary wages now directly do so instead of reducing a fraction based on the number of mercenaries in the party. So overall, very, very lovely their inclusion there for the mercenaries. Kind of adds a little bit more diversity, and you get kind of a branch of 1 of 3 mercenaries, which is pretty cool. Revised the main storyline, quest conversations, and logs. Nothing about the actual voice lines is in here, so I'm assuming that'll just be like a launch thing. Like, hey, here's the launch version of the game, and it's got voice lines. And then for other, a lot of changes with the equipment for Volandian soldiers, mainly their archers, and making it so that the militia veteran archer now uses an arbalist, the boar champion uses a hickory crossbow, Volandian levy crossbowmen, boar veteran, and novice now all use heavy crossbows. The Empire caravan guards now use horse archers with light crossbows. I believe the Empire elite caravan guards, maybe it was just the Volandian ones, were the given crossbows not too long ago, but this is just kind of nice to have more of the variety here. The heavy crossbow 2 is missile speed now 80, accuracy is now 96, thrust damage is now 82. I cannot remember if that is a nerf or a buff, so you know what, this gets to be put into cyan. But nonetheless, that has been modified there. And also, this is a cool one. This should actually be in green. You can now unlock all crafting pieces via the console with the campaign.unlock_all crafting pieces. So if you want to test crafting, you want to try out these banners, you can now do that by just simply enabling the cheat console and just kind of going to town. Multiplayer here, you know, we are getting to those custom servers. That is pretty nice. That was added in the last patch, but mainly a bunch of fixes here. Increase lobby server speed on login, increase the theoretical limit for concurrent players on a custom server to around 1,000, stuff like that. But for both, this is the big thing, right? Ooh, adjusted the algorithm responsible for resizing the helmets to correctly fit the different head shapes, removing the bug that caused helmets to be too large. Love that. And horses now generate the correct dust when traversing. I don't care about that. But into performance, again, memory leaks, reduced memory usage, stuff like that. Always nice to see these things. But then we jump into combat. Overhauled the AI movement system through a range of physics adjustments, better situational understanding, and manners, and by implementing a partial 360-degree input for the AI. This notably improves issues with troop congestion, jittering, helps the AI deal with difficult terrain, and avoid siege engines. So kind of makes things flow a little bit better in combat, increase the distance between agents standing in formation, improve the melee fight behavior of ranged agents. They will now no longer ignore nearby enemy troops, and improve the cab troops' couch lance behavior, making them more inclined to use it. So overall, just a nice kind of improvement to the AI for combat to make it just a little bit less jankety, right? Especially the jittering. That kind of always like, oh, it's gonna throw me off right now. But this kind of covers our patch notes here. Of course, there's all the modding ones that I don't even understand what they mean because I don't speak Braille, let alone any of the modding stuff because I'm not a smart human being. But let's go ahead and jump into the game and show off some of the stuff that has changed. For starters, let's show off some ponies here. Let's go to the pony show and take a look. We get the steppe charger, the steppe horse, desert horse, war horse. These things are all pretty standard fare stuff. Then we get down here into Sturgian native, Battanian hobby, Darshi horse, Glinter pony, Kintirian charger, the Reville chaser. So you get these different mount options, which are all pretty nice. A lot of just general diversity, which I think is something that the mounts needed, because in the past I just did not have this. And as we kind of go down into this, we get into the noble mounts with the Palmation, the Ascarat, the Pureblood, the Battanian Thoroughbred. And you can see that this only requires 80 riding to mount, which is very nice. Someone mounted my ex-girlfriend for way less riding than that, but still, nonetheless, my point is that this used to be a way higher number, right? Even looking at the war mounts here, that's only 30 riding to get into a very nice mount, good speed, good maneuverability, good hit points. And I like that. It's right at 35, 40, 50. So it has a nice natural progression rather than going from, I think before it was like 40, then 80, then like 120 or something like that. It had a really, really, really high top end to the riding. This one being the highest at 95, I believe. Yeah. So I do like that. I like that it's kind of been diversified a little bit. I would like to see more barding, especially for camels. Want to see some really cool war camels just huntsfering their way to war. But you can see that nonetheless. Moving into miscellaneous, though, we get all of the banners. So if we can just go ahead and take a look at the here's just a normal little campaign banner, nothing fancy there. And this might have the actual Imperial flag on it, but once I put it on, you can see it reflects my heraldry. And I'm going to go all the way down to show you some of these. Here's the Banner of the Knight, increases charge damage. And here's the actual banner itself, which looks just pretty fucking sick. Just kind of go through some of these, show them off to you. Standard of Discipline. So you can see that these look really good. The Standard of Wrath, Wrath and Ruin, the Testudo. And then you just drop it right here, and then when you go into your battle phase, you just simply assign this to, you assign your character to that formation, and then they give this bonus to that formation. So a lot of really great things with these banners. Excited to see how they kind of play out. I'm more excited to see what it looks like for modders in this. And it didn't mention anything for the Steam Workshop and modding that I saw, but I really am excited for that Steam Workshop launch, hopefully with the game's launch. But this shows off the new horses and the new banners for the game. And to quickly show off some of the new scenes, here is the Castle Chinopsis for the Imperials, and it's very simple, very small, but I really like the look of this one. Kind of has this really cool little initial killing field as soon as you break through the gate. I just like the changes they've made to a lot of these scenes. And anyone that's got an updated scene typically has a better nav mesh, and the whole siege mechanics by and large work a lot better in those locations. So I do really like that. Ooh, look at this. This is a lovely banner you have here. Oh, grapes? You shouldn't have. But nice little kind of updates to a lot of these scenes. I think now every single castle and every single town has been updated with its proper scene. I'm not 100% sure there, but they all now have custom scenes, I think. At least a high percentage of them do. So it's nice to see these scenes being updated and added into the game. All right, I've just jumped haphazardly into a fight to show off some action here. You can see that these formations are pretty wild, actually. They've got a lot of space in between them, as what was intended here. You can see like each one of them has a lot more room to kind of maneuver around, do what they need to do. My crossbowmen are just going to town. Look at these little banners they got on the edge of their little spears. Oh, don't! I'm trying to make a video. Do not kill me right now. Great, just took a javelin in the back right hip. My SI joint's messed up now, but I do kind of like the AI's responsiveness to what's going on. A little bit more situational awareness, a little bit more like adaptability to seeing like what's going on. Like, hey, you know, these units are coming over here. I'm going to change my charge, stuff like that. Like they saw that a bunch of cav was coming, so they kind of hung back and started to shoot the cav apart with its crossbows, and then they have the infantry in reserve waiting for any kind of charges. And now the cav is just being like rolled through, and we have a portion of our cavalry, though, has reached their back line, and their archers and started to charge into it. So it's using portions of our cavalry to actually be defensive, and another portion to be offensive to put a little pressure on them, which I kind of like. That's in a different approach, right? It's usually always been like, all right, we're going to split the forces in half. You're going to advance one flank on the left, one flank on the right of cav, and just kind of see how it goes. Okay, you shot my horse, you penis. And we're playing against Sturgia, who has gone into a shield wall, so it seems to be that different factions do have different formations and ways that they prefer to attack and charge and do things. Okay, now we're moving into a shield wall, it would appear. Oh yeah, just look at that beautiful cavalry charge there. Okay, I got in the way. Sorry guys, sorry. Yeah, it looks a little bit more like a massive melee. Yeah, I like that. And less twitchy, right? They're not like twitching out next to each other and stuff like that. This looks like an actual fight with people pressing against one another. You know, from my experience on the battlefield in medieval times. That's a little funky though. If they're kind of like breaking off in that little portion, they should be a little more cohesion. But maybe they said, oh, okay, they're fleeing. We can kind of charge them down like this. I like it. Frames per second are good too. It's not causing any like big memory issues. I take that. It might come a little choppy on you guys. I apologize if that's the case, because I'm recording it and duplicating that monitor. So man, yeah. Oof. You saw it here first, folks. Sturgia still nerfed. Let me do this. This might clear up any kind of choppiness. So, yeah, overall, I very much like the AI improvements in the way that they actually move on the battlefield. And I like the way that they've broken up how that AI chooses to address and attack the enemy. A little bit more objective oriented, not just simply, okay, I've got my flanks covered with my cav, I'm going to march forward. This was definitely, it felt like, okay, Sturgia was going to make a shield wall and use its archers to draw me in, and I'm playing Volandia, so it used its cavalry as a shock portion to disrupt those archers. I might be looking between the lines here and creating this for myself. You guys can tell me from your limited combat experience in this game, or I'm sorry, in the 1.9. I've only done a few battles to check it out, so let me know what you guys feel in the comment section below. Overall, I definitely think this is a patch worth trying. Please keep in mind that there's probably some sort of economy bug that I'm not aware of, or starving generals or something like that that always seems to kind of crop up within like a day or two of these patches coming out. So be mindful of those things as always. Make sure you're backing up your saves if you do intend to do a lot of beta branch playing. I personally am waiting until launch, and once launch happens, I'm going to be releasing a ton of updated videos because a lot of the stuff we've covered, a lot of the content, the mechanics have either changed or units have gotten new things, whatever it is. So if you are looking forward to those updated videos, they will be on the channel. Do not worry about it come the launch of Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, all that fun action. But have a good one and take care.